All right, we are live. I thought I'd start a little early. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, We Love Comics. And one of my subscribers, and I'll just say his name is Daniel, because I don't know if he wants his last name out there, so I want to just keep that private. He can put his name out there if he wants to. But a shout out to Daniel, because he's a person that's...
All right, we are live. I thought I'd
hold
start
on
a
a second.
little early. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel.
Sorry about that. Alright, so he's one of my subscribers. He's been following me for a while. He will email me periodically for advice and things like that. He's actually bought a couple of my comics over the years, especially some bigger ones that helped me to move here to Florida. He's bought books like Amazing Spider-Man 14 from me. He's mailed me several times and always says he appreciates some of the advice I've given. He says some of the recommendations of comic books. He's been able to find deals, and he wanted to do something nice, and I want to just do this unboxing. He told me one of the comics that are in there, but he said he added extras that I don't know about, so I'm going to do the unboxing with you guys, so we're going to learn them together. So I just wanted to say that's really nice of him. Things have been a little hard lately for me with the, with the situation going on in the world. I'm sure it is for many people, so I hope, if anything, everybody's doing okay. My heart goes out to anybody who's struggling. I know what it's like. I haven't made a video in a week because my car broke down and I had to come up with ways to have it fixed, which I ended up doing yesterday. So it came at perfect timing. So Daniel, I just want to say personally, thank you so much for this. This is very kind, and I wanted to do this live with you guys and gals to show how much I appreciate anybody doing something like this. It's obviously not something I do normally because I don't have things like this happen very often, but it's very much appreciated and not something that was expected. And one of the things I've learned in my life, which was always a challenge for me, because I was always giving, I was always the type of person, like you see on my channel, I try and do shout-outs for other channels and stuff like that. And speaking of which, if you're live in the live chat, stick around and comment in the live chat, because I always do a surprise subscriber shout-out. I give out information without ever asking for anything in return, but I was always uncomfortable with receiving things. And one of the things somebody told me years ago that stuck with me is, never deny somebody the ability to do something kind. And when I saw it from that perspective, it really made me think about it, because, what if somebody stopped you from doing something kind? I think that we need more of that in this world. So like I said, I do not expect this from anybody. I don't want anybody to think that I'm doing this now. You have to do it. So please, especially if you're struggling or anything, I just want this to share this as my way of saying thank you. And I also want to remind people, sign up for that cashback program, because speaking of giving, normally the cashback program only gives you $10 cashback. But if you sign up for the first time by clicking on the link and spend $40 within the first 90 days, you get a $40 cashback. I don't know how long they're doing it for, because they haven't said. It could end at any time. But take advantage of that if you can. I mean, $40 is a big deal these days, especially if you're somebody that's been out of work for a long time. So take advantage of it. And if you do sign up and spend the $40, I get a one-time referral fee, so it helps me as well. So we all help each other, and that's what the world should be all about. So let's put on the video camera. Hopefully Daniel will see this. And Daniel, by the way, has a YouTube channel. Daniel, when you get the chance to see this, and I know you'll watch it, make sure you post the link to your channel so people can go check you out. And I ask people, please give them the benefit of a view, maybe even a like, and maybe even a subscription. And we'll do the same with the surprise subscriber shout out. And plus, if any of my moderators end up in the live chat during the live video that you see right here, anybody that's one of my moderators can also get a shout out every time they're in there. So there's no restriction for a moderator. And to be a moderator, the way I do it is I reward my loyal subscribers who comment often. And like I always say, you don't have to be a yes man. You don't have to agree with everything I say. You just got to be somebody that, if they disagree, just do it constructively so we all learn. And if I see your comments after a while and I start recognizing you, some of you I will reward with the ability to be a moderator. So there's a couple of you that are my regular moderators, and I appreciate you even if you've only seen one of my videos, and that's all you'll ever see. So thank you for being here and to be a part of this. So this is the box. The only thing that's a little troubling or scary to me right now, hopefully it didn't damage the comics. They said do not crush it. It didn't crush it, but it looks like something pierced it. So there's a big rip there, but I'm sure if he's watched my videos on how to box comics, the comics inside should be very safe. So I have the utmost in confidence that's what they'll be. And yeah, he wrapped these very well. So he put them in cardboard, and he also put some bubble wrap and the blue painter's tape. I love when people do that because it makes it so much easier to remove the tape. Because if you use other tape, it can be difficult sometimes to get them out, and the more you struggle trying to open up a comic box, especially if it's by somebody who doesn't wrap things properly or put enough security on them, you can end up bending the comic. So just be careful when you open things up. So like I said, I know what one of the books are because he told me about it, because it was a book I talked about people getting, but it's one of those I just never got because I never really found the right deal. And I always tell people, even if there's a book that you want, don't overspend unless you think it's something that within 5 years or so, or even 10 years if you're younger, that you think it might be something worth potentially having. So this book, I wasn't sure about it, and I could never find a good deal, so I just kind of passed up on the opportunity, saying, all right, I'll get it if it arrives. And that's exactly what's happening now, thanks to Daniel's kindness. So there's several books here. So let me just show the first one. This is the one I know about. So he put it in cardboard, and he put some backing boards for security. So great job. The comics weren't damaged. And this is absolutely a book I've always wanted, just never got around to, and it's just amazing that he sent this to me. And again, thank you very much, Daniel. And that is Conan the Barbarian number 23. And as you could see right there, there you go. If it goes into focus, first appearance of Red Sonja. And I heard with the Conan TV show that she's going to be a big part of that. Now, whether that happens or not remains to be seen. Whether it ends up being something good, who knows? He wrote down from 1972 to 1973. So this is a good idea for people. You could write stuff on the backboard of your comics to give information so you know about it. That's usually where I put the price of what I paid. And as you could see, put a little sticker for the significance. So that's a good thing to do with your own collections, is put them... one thing I would recommend, if you ever do this and put a sticker on your comic, don't use a regular pen. Use a marker. Because if the comic is in the bag and board and you write with a regular, like, Bic pen, it's going to leave an imprint behind it. So as you could see here, he actually used, very smartly, a felt tip pen so it doesn't apply that pressure. Because especially if you're a person that wants a high-graded book, you may not realize that whatever you wrote in, if the comic was in the bag and board with a Bic pen, you're actually putting an indent behind it because you have to use pressure. So, smart idea that he used the felt tip pen, so I would definitely recommend that. And if you're one of those people that's afraid, well, if I put a felt tip pen, won't it smear? Well, after you write it, you could take another piece of clear tape and just put it over it, so that'll prevent that from ever happening. So, this is a great book. He says it's very good to find, very good plus. To me, like I've always said, low grade is better than no grade, so to me, it does not matter. Vigilante says, no, the rights with Red Sonja are with Liberman. The Conan rights are with Conan property. Yeah, that could be confusing sometimes with the rights of characters. It changes all the time. I mean, Conan was not an original Marvel comic hero. I mean, he was introduced back in the 30s, before comic books. So sometimes it's just rights get exchanged. I mean, if you look at something like DC's Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, they gave up on him for a while. The rights expired. Marvel took him over. And when DC brought him back, they had to call him Shazam, the original Captain Marvel. So sometimes when it comes to licensing and property ownership, it changes all the time. But again, it's definitely a book I've always wanted, and now I have it in my collection. I was always a Barry Windsor Smith fan of his Conan work, especially to me. Conan #1 from 1970 was, to me, in my opinion, his best cover work art. I mean, he's very famous for especially his run during the Valiant times. I didn't like his work then, but I found Conan #1 just beautiful artwork. So I think, almost issue 1 through 9. And this is one of those books I wanted. I'm not sure if this is a Barry Windsor Smith cover. It kind of looks like it, but, sometimes when they get a new artist, they can kind of take over and kind of be very similar. So I don't believe this is, but quote me, don't quote me and correct me if I'm wrong. I definitely do not mind that. So that's the first book. So that's the one I knew about. So the rest I do not know about. Now I see the cover partially, so I'm just going to flip it over so I can't see it. So he included a couple of backing boards, so that's great for protection. So there are 3 other books here, so let me find out what they are together. And thank you all for watching. The 4 people that have hit the like button, I really appreciate it. Alright, this is a book I used to own, but it was one of my books when somebody stole a bunch of my comics, a lot of Mega Keys. But I was collecting when I was a young teenager, a lot of 12-cent books, especially Avengers, because I just really loved the covers. So this is Avengers 27. So I used to own this book. And it's nice to have something like this back in my collection. Again, to me, when I was a kid, I always loved the 12-cent and how they always put the characters in the Marvel logo. I always found that fascinating, and I just found the artwork just amazing. Some of the artists in those days just really did some beautiful work, and it was just very attractive. And it's sad that I don't have the original copy that I had since I was a kid, but now I have a copy once again, so thank you. Alright, next up. This is a book I've never had before. This is Thor, number 133. It says The Living Planet, but I don't think that's Ego. I'm not sure, because it doesn't say Ego the Living Planet, so I'm not very familiar, because I did not collect the Journey into Mystery as a kid. I don't know why. I just never got into it back then, but now I love Thor, especially, that's one of the beautiful things about the Marvel movies. I mean, for a long time, nobody cared about Iron Man, for example. Movies took him to a whole new level. Back in my days, it was Wolverine, it was Punisher, it was Spider-Man, to a lesser extent it was Venom for a certain period. But most people didn't care about Captain America as much, and Thor and Iron Man, and the Marvel movies, brought them to a whole nother level. So it's like looking back at these now again with the old 12-cent issues. Again, I just always liked that look. Just made it feel different from the books at the time when I was collecting them in the 80s and 90s. Just such a better time. Alright, and last but not least, alright, another book I've never had before. And this is X-Men. Love the X-Men. I was fortunate enough to pick up X-Men #1 back in 2017. Or I believe 2016, I'm not sure. But this is issue number 34. It says War in the World of Darkness. This is right around, I think it was around the 50s, when they basically just turned X-Men into a reprint. Because the series, sales-wise, was doing so poorly, they were just going to cancel it. And if it wasn't for Giant Size X-Men #1, where they redid the X-Men and added Wolverine as an X-Men, we may have never seen some of the movies that we've seen and the characters that we now love. But I still love the original series of X-Men books. And with the X-Men coming eventually to the MCU, I mean, any of these books are going to become very desirable. And again, if you look at these 12-cent issues, again, you could see how they put the characters, instead of just, a barcode, just made it prettier. The covers just look better. I mean, the colors always worked. Made you focus on the characters. And it just looks like a lot of love was put into these. this was way back before they became so commercial that they just wanted to print anything as fast as they could and as much as they could. You know, there's definitely a lot of love and effort into these, and one of the reasons why, to me, Golden Age and Silver Age books just stand out, even ones that are not key issues, because I don't think some of these are key issues, but I don't care. I just love adding them to my collection. So Daniel, that was really cool that you did that. I'm very humbled by somebody being so kind. And I'm happy to know that my advice over the years have helped so many people. You know, like, I never had a Patreon. I have a Patreon, but I've never had it where, oh, if you want to learn some of my tips or some of my advice or information, you had to subscribe to PayPal and give me money to give you information. Never once did that. I always gave my information freely. I always gave my opinion freely, whether you agreed with it or liked it or not. You know, at least I just wanted to just give things to people, because the world, especially these days, is a lot of just take, and there's not a lot of give and not a lot of kindness anymore. And I think we need to get back to that. So I'm very humbled that somebody would be this kind, and I'm very appreciative of this. These are books I am not going to ever sell. I don't care if this Red Sonja book becomes a $5,000 book. I mean, this was given to me because somebody cared about, you know, what I've helped them with. Now, I know I'm not going to help everybody. I'm not going to be everybody's favorite channel and everything like that. But to me, I would care more about one person that appreciates me than 100,000 that don't. And if you apply that in your life, where as long as you have at least one person in your life that appreciates you, then it doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks. That one person is going to be more important to you than millions of others that don't. So to Daniel, I want to thank you so much. I do believe you have a business. Obviously, he's not in the live chat right now, but when you watch this, if you have any links to any of your businesses that you want to put in the comment section, please do. If you want to just email it to me, I will post it. And again, I want to thank you for being this kind to do this. It made my day. It's been rough for me a little while, but one of the things I've always said on my channel is, you know, be confident, be strong. Sometimes you get knocked down to see if you're strong enough to get back up again. So I don't view what's been happening since basically March of this year, I don't view it as evil or depressing or down. I view it as a challenge. And if you view life as a challenge, you'll try and solve it and become better for it. So I view this time in my life as a, you know, put up or shut up. Do you mean what you have said all these years and can have everything taken away from you and still be strong? Or are you one of those that will just say everything people wants to hear, and when the you know what hits the fan, you crumble like a piece of tin foil? So maybe sometimes leading by example, that knowing that times can get rough. I mean, like I said, I've been unemployed since March. I had problems with my car. I lost 2 of my cats. One of them, you know, recently. A lot of things. But I'm still remaining positive, still strong. I still know that, you know, as they say, this too shall pass. But something like this, it may not seem like a big deal to most people, but to me this says there's somebody out there who appreciated what I did and went out of their way to give something that they spent their, you know, blood, sweat, and tears to get, because I'm sure they didn't just walk down the street and found these on the ground. You know, I'm sure he paid his own money and had to work to get it. And for somebody to be that kind to send them to me as a thank you for my just putting out videos of information, shows there are very kind people in this world, and at least here it's appreciated, and it definitely makes me very humble. So when Daniel posts the link to his channel, please go subscribe, go check him out. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your kindness, your support over the years, whether you've come for one video, whether you've subscribed and unsubscribed, whether you just watch because you're bored, or maybe just to get a tip for something that can save you money. I just want everybody to know, even if you come here just to thumb down my videos and you don't watch or listen to a word I say, or you just listen to the advice and then disappear. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I think 2021 should be a year coming up where we put this year behind us and look at all of the craziness in the world as the world saying, here, do you want your life to be this way? So sometimes it's like the year 2020, it's a reflection. And sometimes you have to have before you a choice of what you want, what you don't want. So you'll never appreciate, like for example, I lived in New York for the first 48 years of my life. Never thought I would be anywhere else. Absolutely loved it. Never thought I would move. I've been here now over a year. Spent my 50th birthday party. Well, I spent my 50th birthday by myself. My wife had to work and with no family and friends around here because under lockdown, you don't really get the chance to go out. I still would not trade this for the world. I love the fact that my wife and I went outside this morning and said, oh, it's a little chilly. And we looked at the temperature and it was 73 degrees. And I said, we're becoming Floridians. But we couldn't have appreciated the nice warm weather that we're having if I didn't spend 48 years in an area where we'd get 3 feet of snow. It would be 14 degrees and your car would be spinning out, or you had to take hours to shovel the snow. Sometimes you have to have what you don't want so you know what you do want. So I'm looking at 2020 as a year of, whether you want to call it God or the universe or karma or whatever, or your own reflection, saying, here's a path you can choose. Here is a way that people are treating people. You can join it, or you can say, thank you for showing me that. I don't want to be that way, and choose to be a better person. It always boils down to choice. So for me, like I said, this is probably the first act of kindness I've had in probably 2 to 3 years. I don't expect these things, but I damn well will appreciate them. So, are these $1 million comics? No. Do I care? Absolutely not about that. It's the fact that somebody took their time to think about somebody else and wanted to do something to make them happy. And as trivial as comic books can be at times, if more people in this world focused on making people happy instead of making people believe in what they believe or feel what they feel, this world would be a much better place. So at least here, in this moment, in this video, something nice to share in a time where things have probably been more challenging in your life and my life than probably any other time we can imagine. And we could fall down like everybody else and be sad and be mad and be divisive and be angry. Or we can look at all of that and say, thank you, universe, or thank you, God, or thank you, karma, or thank yourself, and say, thank you for showing me all this craziness and evil and hatred, because now I know who I do not want to be and what I do not want to represent. And if that helps you stay strong or become better or happier, or gives you a reason to be kinder because you saw the cruelness of how the world can be, then thank your lucky stars you got it presented to you. So despite all of my challenges this year and the fact that I haven't really been able to buy any big comics in 5 or 6 months now, I know I'll be back. Eventually I will be getting my Amazing Fantasy 15. It won't be today, it probably will not be tomorrow, but it will happen again. And you could sit around crying that the world is unfair and the world is cruel, and trust me, I have every right to do that because most of my things have been taken away from me or lost. But if you're strong, you can always rebuild. So I think that's why some people appreciate my channel. Very few people are watching right now, and that's fine. Because most people don't want to go to a comic book channel to be preached at or hear something that's not comics. I understand it. But the very few people, the 8 people that are still around right now listening, if anything I've said has affected you in a positive way, then I'm damn glad I made it. So to me, it's not about the fact that, yeah, I'm getting close to 10,000 subscribers. But if only 9 people watch and they learn something that helps them, then to me, that's all that matters. And that's why I think some people appreciate my channel, because I'm not like every other channel where you just show some comics and, you know, you may be proud of what you got and you just do it because you're bored or whatever, and you put on your fancy lights and you put on the green screen and you cut it up to make sure it's perfect. Here's just a regular guy speaking from his heart, no scripts, no editing it to make myself look good, just talking from the heart for people who care. So, once again, thank you, Daniel, for these 4 amazing books. 3 of the 4 I've never had. 1 is one I lost when some of my comics got stolen. Means the world to me, and I thank you for it. So, to the 14 people that like this, thank you so much. To those of you who took the time to join into the live chat, I really appreciate it. For those who stuck from beginning to end to watch this, my power viewers, thank you. And to everybody out there, whether you thumbed it up or thumbed it down, whether you watch for 2 seconds or watch the whole thing, I really appreciate you taking your time to give me a moment of your time. And that's all I can say. So we're going to go with Kevin Price. You are going to be today's surprise subscriber shout out. So Kevin, if you are still here and you hear this shout out, if you have a YouTube channel, all you have to do is put the link in the comment section. I will always have to approve it just to make sure it's something appropriate. And if you see the surprise subscriber shoutouts link in the comment section, it means it has been approved. And again, it doesn't have to be a comic book channel. It could be something about toys. It could be something about making your own movies. I don't care. As long as it's not something that's inappropriate, I will approve it. And I hope you guys will check them out, subscribe to them, or at least, you know, give them a like on a video. Sometimes it'll make somebody's day. You know, there are people out there that make videos where I've seen channels where they've been doing videos for 3 or 4 years, and the highest view count on one of their videos is like 24 views. So to what may not seem a big deal to some people, may mean the world to somebody else. So give them a chance. And also, since Rand for Tim Mungan, one of my moderators, is here, if you want to put your link to your channel as well, if you have one, please do. So thank you once again for listening. I really appreciate it. I'll be making another video soon. Hang in there if you're struggling. Trust me, I know. You know, it's very easy to say the world is perfect and everything's great when everything's going great. You know, you see a lot of people that are multimillionaires or very famous people or people that never have to worry about something, full of smiles telling you everything will be okay. Well, can you lose everything and still be okay? That to me is the true test of strength. It's not being, you know, preaching to the choir when you have everything going for you. It's, can you still be positive and think in a positive way when all the things that you loved get taken away from you? And I hope when you see this video and you compare it to other videos when I was doing much better, you can see that I'm still caring, I'm still appreciative, and I'm still looking forward to the future despite the things that, the challenges that I've gone through. And maybe that'll inspire somebody. So thank you so much for listening. I'm rambling at this point. To my power viewers that put up with me with these rants, God bless you. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks again to Daniel. And do not forget, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. You all have a wonderful day. Hang in there. And I'll see you next video.